Hey guys, welcome to another video. This week I'm going to be making a few different styles of paper gift boxes. I'm just going to go ahead and list all the materials for all three projects. You'll need 4 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock paper, 2 12 by 12 inch sheets of cardstock or scrapbook paper, some ribbon, a hole punch, some scissors, and a paper cutter, as well as any materials needed for decorating, and some Scotch tape. As a quick reminder, all the materials are listed in the description. So getting started with the first project, I'm going to call this the grid fold box and lid. And starting with the brown sheet of paper, I'm going to cut this to an 8 1/8 inch square. And onto the green, I'm going to cut this to an 8 1/4 inch square. Now back to the brown sheet of paper, I'm just going to start off by folding this in half diagonally, and then diagonally the other way, then folding in each corner to the center, and then folding each corner up to the edge of the furthest fold, and then folding each corner up to the edge of the nearest fold. And this is why I call it a grid fold box, because it creates a grid across the sheet of paper. So you're going to cut 2 squares in on opposing sides, and using the previous folds as a guide, I'm just going to fold in the longer sides first and fold in the edges, and then roll the shorter sides up and over those edges. And moving on to the green sheet of paper, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did with the brown sheet of paper. Since the green sheet of paper is a little bit larger than the brown sheet was, it's going to end up being the lid. And with both pieces of this box folded, it's time to put them together. And it's a little bit of a snug fit just because I only made it a difference of an 1/8 of an inch, but they do still fit. So now I just want to take the yellow sheet of cardstock, and I'm going to cut it to a 2 3/4 inch square. And this is just to line the inside of the bottom of the box. Now to go with the color scheme of my box, I'm going to draw a sunflower on part of the yellow cardstock that's left over, and create the center with part of the brown cardstock that's left over, and just use a glue stick to attach it on top of the box. And that completes this box. And moving on to the next one, I'm just going to take the 8.5 by 11 white sheet of paper and fold in half hamburger style, and then fold the 2 edges into the center. And this is what I call the Pac-Man pouch, because it starts out very similar to how you fold a paper Pac-Man, and I use that same idea to create a little gift pouch. So now you just want to fold in each of the corners to align with that nearest fold, and then fold the edges back into the center. And then you're going to take that center fold and fold it the opposite direction. And then the remaining corners sticking out, you're just going to lift up one of the edges and fold those under. Now, before I finish folding this one, I'm just going to decorate the outside while it's still flat. With that decorated, I just want to pull this apart, line up the 2 top edges, and then pinch together the sides so that they stay closed. And then I'm going to take the hole punch and punch a hole on the top of each side. And to secure this one, I'm just going to take some 1/8 inch ribbon and tie a bow. And that completes this box. And onto the last one. This is my Cootie catcher inspired gift box. And I call it that because when I started looking at making this box, I made a Cootie catcher first and then saw how I could turn it into a gift box. So taking the first 12 by 12 sheet of paper, just making a mark in the center so it's easier to fold in the 2 edges toward the center. And then just opening that up and doing the same thing with the other 2 edges. And doing this will create a square in the center of the paper. Alright, and flipping the piece of paper over and looking at that square, you just want to take 2 opposing sides and crease the center of the fold in the opposite direction. Next thing you want to do is fold in all the corners to the center. Now, holding the two opposing sides where you flip the crease, the paper should collapse very easily on itself to create a box as you fold those sides under. And then you just want to reinforce the folds to keep the structural integrity of the box. The last thing to do on this half is just take a piece of Scotch tape and align the two sides that seem to fold over on themselves so that they create one full side of the box. And I'm taping this on the inside just so that you don't have to see the tape when you go to use it. And I'm just going to follow the same exact steps to fold the other 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Once I have both halves folded, I'm just going to place the lid on top of the bottom of the box. And the way that I'm doing this, you can see these two corners poking up on the top of the box. It's on the opposite sides on the bottom of the box. And I feel like that's important because it actually helped out when I was tying the ribbon around the box. And speaking of ribbon, that's the last piece to this box. And for the most part, I just want to use the ribbon to hold down the flaps of the bottom and the top of the box so that they don't stick up. And the ribbon I'm using is wired, so it does help me in making a bow on the top of this. And with that, we're at the end of this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and check out other videos on my channel. And I hope to see you next week.